slept maybe 3 hours a night for 2 years. And in the middle of the night, I would sometimes, to help myself fall asleep, I would flex every muscle in my body, and I would sit up, and I would scream, but not make a sound. And for one moment, I would feel okay. Has anyone ever done anything like that here? I'm going to tell you why I just said that. Because we make videos that make people laugh, and we do amazing things with music. But the most incredible gift that you can give someone in a video is to help them feel less alone. And I want to just put that into a phrase for you and have you maybe repeat it. The things that make us feel the most alone have the greatest power to connect us. And I think it's an appropriate challenge for you to think about maybe making a video about the things that make you feel alone and seeing how many other people are like you. Do something with me. Here is the human test. It is a test to see if you are a human. If something applies to you, please make a gesture or raise your hand. Have you ever ate a booger long past your childhood? Have you ever remembered something very embarrassing and suddenly made a strange little sound? Have you ever tried to guess someone else's password so many times that it locked their account? Have you ever had a nagging feeling that someday you will be discovered as a fraud? Have you ever hoped that there was some ability that you hadn't discovered yet that you were just naturally great at? Have you ever wanted to stretch your arms out wide in a public place and yell as loud as you can? Good. Have you ever realized that if you had done something for just 5 minutes a day, you would be great at it, and that still isn't enough motivation to start? Have you ever said something that you knew wasn't quite true, but then stood by it because the person questioning you was a bit of an ass? When you dream that you have a superpower, do you wake up wishing that it was true? Have you ever realized that you start to hum when you eat something that you love? Have you ever tried to shut down your computer to stop a message from being sent? Have you ever broken something and then found yourself looking for an undo button in the world around you? Have you ever had a moment of panic walking through a metal detector even though you have nothing to hide? Yes. Have you ever stared at your phone, smiling like an idiot while texting with someone? Have you ever subsequently texted that person the phrase, "I am staring at the phone, smiling like an idiot"? Have you ever hoped that just by staring at someone they wouldn't notice you and do the work of coming over to you and saying hi. Yes. Have you ever become hyper-aware of a part of your body right before you fell asleep, and then become afraid that you wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it ever? When you have conversations with yourself, do you suddenly realize that you're a real jerk to yourself? When you feel ashamed that you keep... I'm going to skip that one. This is a test, may I remind you. When you put on a pair of pants, have you ever realized that there is a loose sock smushed up against your thigh? Have you ever thought that maybe the key to fixing a difficult part of your social life was something simple, like apologizing more or smiling more? Yes. When you smile or laugh when someone just said something terrible to you, have you spent the rest of the day wondering why the hell you smiled or laughed? Have you ever woken up in a great mood and then suddenly remembered making an ass out of yourself the night before? Have you ever been secretly proud that you were the first person to clap at an event? May I remind you, this is a test. When a good friend repeats a story that they already told you, do you sometimes question whether they care about you at all? Do you ever wonder if there is something wrong with the shape of your ears because your earbuds keep on falling out? Have you ever purposely lowercased the first letter of a text in order to come across as sad or disappointed or mean? Yes. We are nearing the end of the test. Have you ever woken up blissfully and suddenly been flooded by the awful remembrance that someone had left you? Have you ever lost the ability to imagine a future without a person that was no longer in your life? Have you ever looked back on an event like that with the sad smile of autumn and the realization that futures will happen regardless? Yes. That completes the human test. Congratulations, you are all human. Thank you.